Hi everybody, Scott Cart here and welcome back to my lab. Today I have for you a Proteus presentation that comes from a couple viewers. They were asking about how to set up a PCB for high voltage and how to set up design rules. All right, welcome back. And so here I've set up a very simple circuit. I have three sets of resistors that are wired together, and the first one to look at is the middle one. And you'll notice that I do have power and ground set up, and so these are going to have some design rules already set up in them. Okay, so automatically we can see that we have a net class called power, and the net class power will be defined, okay, that we can set the traces accordingly, as well as the signal we're going to get to. And so this is a net class, and a net class is a great way to define how we want things to happen. And so this first one, I'm going to leave it just as is, and so this will have a net class of signal. This one has a net class of power, but we're interested in setting up a couple more. Particularly, we want to set up something for the high voltage. Okay, so what I'm going to do is we're going to create a wire label, and there's two ways to create a wire label. We do have the button over here. We can go ahead and click on, and rather than putting a label, we want to go to a net class, and we're going to create a new net class, and I'm going to call this one HV for high voltage, and I'll say okay. The other one that we'd want is this guy down here. And so as I promised, there's two ways to do it. The other way is to right click, and we want to say place a wire label. And again, we'll go to the net class, and we'll just do our little pull down here so that we can access high voltage. We'll say okay. Now we can jump over here. We'll just hit save real quick, and we'll go to our PCB layout. We'll define a board edge crudely here, not paying much attention to any real dimensions, and we can place our parts. These are horribly placed intentionally. Let's go in, and we want to look at the design rule manager now. Okay, so the first thing that we see is that our net classes we do have. Okay, we've got our signal traces. We have it set already for default, and we can double check on what that is in a second. We have our power, and it's set as default, but we don't want default. We want our power to be a little bit heavy. So I'm gonna specify that as a T20, and I'll just say okay for now. We'll come back to it because I want to go over to our track mode. I want to double check what my default track mode is. And so it's set to 10,000ths of an inch. And so that's fantastic. That's going to give us a nice difference between the two of them. And the last one, we'll go back here, and we want to set up yet another rule. Okay, so we want to go in, and we want to say that we want to set a new rule. And this new rule, I'm going to call it high voltage. And we're going to apply this rule to the net class HV. All right, and now we can go in and we can specify that between the two pads, the minimum that we want is 50 thou, and perhaps we want let's go crazy, pad to trace, let's do 100 thou, and trace to trace, let's do 75, just so that they're all different. And I'll say okay, and so now we've got our default. Okay, 10 thou, and we've got this special high voltage, and we'll say okay. And now we want to set that net class for high voltage. Let's crank that up really high. Let's take that up to 50,000ths of an inch, and we'll say okay. And now we'll run our auto trace. And we can see that it gives us lots and lots of room around here. Okay. And we do have our three different trace widths. Okay, so here we'll try to take this guy. Okay, we can see that we can only come so close. right? We can't get through here. So this is a fantastic way for us to make sure that we have both the clearance and the trace width necessary for our design applications. Okay, and if you're not aware why you would want to have your traces spaced further apart, I will link in a website below to help you calculate what your clearances should be for your high voltage traces and how wide your tracks should be for your current carrying capacity. All right, hopefully this helped. If you found this useful, please give it a thumbs up, like and subscribe if you'd like to be made aware when I make new videos. And as always, thanks for your time. I appreciate it, and have yourself a great day. All right, bye now.